Hello, fellow bikers. I don't really get a chance to talk about motorbikes too often, but I actually like motorbikes more than cars. It's just that you can't make small motorbikes highly detailed. Or can you? Because I picked up these three at a local diecast show, and they're 3D printed, and someone was nice enough to meticulously paint these. That's also an issue. I could design and 3D print these myself, but I don't want to spend the time painting them. I have an entire box of 3D printed things that I've never bothered to paint because I'm lazy that way. Anyways, this person, gave them to me in these nice little rigid cases, so they've been sitting in my drawer for a while. Let's compare some of these photos. So it seems like this first one that I got is a Vespa Sprint. It has this rectangular-ish headlight, trapezoidal headlight, and then multi-spoke wheels there. Yeah, alright. Let's go to the back view here. A lot of people wouldn't really consider these motorbikes because they're scooters, really. But I like all bikes. I actually like bicycling more than motorbikes. So it's kind of weird that I actually like the lowest performance thing, that being me, cycling over a hypercar. Alright, let's see. This is a nice color shift purple this person chose to paint it in, so that's pretty neat. And you can see these little lines, those are the print lines. So this thing was printed horizontally, or at some slight angle, and that's what each of these layers is, but it's still pretty nice. I like this Vespa and the fact that it has a mono-sided, single-sided swing arms, for the front and rear. All scooters have single-sided rears because the transmission is in here. But this side of this Vespa, you got the shock linkage system and the brake system, and this person painted it nicely, a caliper and the floating hat there. And then on this side we have the full-sided, wheel. So that's kind of neat. Same back here, painted gold. There's actually air passing between these tiny spokes. So that's also an issue that regular molded things generally avoid. It's really hard to get tiny spokes out of a mold because the mold will eventually break down faster. So a lot of wheels are blanked off in 164, but with 3D printing you don't have such limitations. So this is really nicely done. And then this person also painted this tiny little chrome strip going around there, the little muffler cover, the muffler tube itself, well, the exhaust tube, and the stand is there with the little kick part. And then back here, I guess this Vespa, alright. The passenger grab rails as well, they actually have air passing between them. And then the tail light is painted silver and red very nicely. Okay. The floorboard has a little ribbing, and then the dashboard here has a little silver, almost actually silver and blue. Let me get in on that. Is that decal? No, I guess that's just paint, but it's not just a silver shape. There's some sort of blue in there. The grips are black, of course. The brake levers are silver. There's a little more silver trim going around the headlamp there. Alright, so, and then the turn signals are silver as well. There's a Vespa here, the logo. So it's really nice. I mean, look at my fingers, my dirty fingernail. And then look how small this is. It's just crazy. So this is a great purchase. Just painting that would be so difficult. It would take me an hour to paint something like that. This next one is the famous bike for me because I used to own one back in LA. It's called a Honda Ruckus 49 cc's, which is a really small displacement of an engine. This is the stock form of it. So it just comes with like some steel wheels, and there's a tiny 49cc motor up in here. Alright, so let's take a look at this one. It's really interesting design from Honda because it's all tube frames. Sorry, I can't focus on it. There we go. So yeah, you have the seat frame here. It's just one bent tube going all the way to the other side. Some brackets. This is bolted onto this frame, which is another set of tubes. Well, it's actually just one big tube. Well, actually it's welded there. Never mind. So anyways, there's a Kickstarter here, an air filter here. This one actually has brake lines going down to the front end. Now, let me warn you, if you're looking to buy a scooter, this stock thing has a drum brake, which is a death trap. Drum brakes are absolutely horrible technology. They're just not effective, like disc brakes. So that's the first upgrade I would highly recommend on this bike if you buy one. Buy a disc brake kit. You know, it'll swap that out with disc brakes. Alright, so this thing has, you know, 2 round headlights and then a metal surround. And then it looks like this is really glossy too, so that's cool. Yeah, the wheel detail is there. Looks like the stamped steel wheels. And then the electronics box is here. Big clunky turn signals from Honda. And then a whole bunch of lines, you know, for the brake and accelerator and all that stuff, all those cables. And then it's got these big mirrors. So it's actually quite accurate to the photograph. And then there's the dashboard. Yeah, just some minor details painted on. This is the key mechanism. And then we have a saddle here that's bolted to that subframe. And on the Ruckus, the fuel tank is actually here. It's underneath this floorboard. But that floorboard has some texture on it, so that's really good. And then we have the turn signals and light for the license plate and rear brake light. And then we have a little cover for the muffler with some details as well. This is, I think the variator? No, the clutch mechanism I think is behind that thing. So, yeah, this actually is very similar to a real Ruckus. I remember that because I took mine totally apart and customized it. So, it's all there. Whoever originally designed this CAD file did a fantastic job. And then the person that painted this model did a fantastic job as well. So, well worth the money for me. Very cool. Alright, so if you lived in Los Angeles, you've seen a large group of people every now and then riding around on these little Ruckuses, or Honda Zoomers as they're called elsewhere in the world. And they're fully customized. You know, it's a fun way to take something relatively inexpensive and trick it out the way you want it. It's very common that we would do long wheelbases with extension arms, and then obviously lower it, and then swap out the headlights, and really do whatever you feel like doing. It's almost limitless, the amount of possibilities with this particular bike. But again, it's in stock form 49 cc's, so a lot of other guys will do 150 cc swaps and stuff, Chinese motor swaps and stuff like that, and then it actually be pretty quick. But I was pretty happy with 49 cc's. It was okay. Alright, so this is a fully customized Honda Ruckus, or Honda Zoomer, 3D printed again. So this time we have some gold aluminum wheels, a lowered suspension, the fuel tank's still going to be there, and then you'll see here this engine is just swept way, it's pushed way far back there. Going to the front, we have some headlights blended into the little electronics box there. Cross brace there, you know, billet steering, really clean up here, triple clamps, fuel tank here, different type of seat, highly stylized seat frame, yeah, big coilover shock there. So I'm gonna guess this is supposed to be like a 150 or a much larger engine that was swapped in here. And then it's got like probably like a carbon fiber muffler or something like that. So to compare the two, right? Much lower, longer, comfortable, stock. So whatever floats your boat. And for good measure, we'll just throw in the Vespa. Alright, well, I think I should probably maybe set up a tiny little diorama or something like that. I don't even know if I have any characters in the seating position, but let me see what I can come up with. And so there we have my little weird diorama today. You'll see I added the Porsche for some sense of scale, and also an unpainted KTM motorbike that I clipped off the windscreen off of. So I'm just too lazy to paint that motorbike. As cool as that KTM is, I just don't want to paint it. So that's why I prefer painted models in many instances. So, okay, well, if you're looking to, spruce up some of your dioramas, I'm not sure if these are available online. As I said, I've purchased these locally here. But I have seen some on AliExpress, other 3D printed things, some other motorbikes and other people, like Marvel superheroes and stuff like that. Unfortunately, they're really expensive because it takes a long time to paint something. If you've never painted anything, you really just don't know. It takes time to paint things properly. So that's why I don't do it. Alright, well, I appreciate you guys checking this out, and maybe someday I'll talk about other bikes. Alright, but until then, we'll see you in the next car review. Bye.